صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى يوم الدين. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. With remembrance of Allah are the hearts at rest. صدق الله العلي العظيم. I'd like to begin by thanking Markaz al-Mahdi again for giving me the opportunity to serve Muhammad wa al-Muhammad, a treasure I'll take with me to Yawm al-Qiyamah. And I'd like to begin by discussing what I'm going to speak about for the next 10 nights. Usually I pick a hadith and then we'll look at different aspects of that hadith throughout the majalis. But what I'm going to do today, considering people are busy and have a hard time committing every night to the same program, and there's so many programs in the city, I'm going to pick 10 different topics, and every night we'll discuss that one topic. So if anyone misses a night, inshallah we'll get a good understanding of what we've been doing. But this doesn't mean that you shouldn't show up every night. I'm encouraging everyone to show up every night, if not here, anywhere else, and to gain the benefits of these majalis and the morning of Hussain salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Sallu ala Muhammad wa al Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
So for these 10 nights, my goal is very simple and it's very specific. As simple as it sounds, it's not so easy to do. My goal is to create change, to motivate movement, to build a better relationship with Allah, to inspire you as well as myself. And it's a lot easier said than done. Because I can ask myself and everyone here, when's the last time you've changed? Anything regarding your personality to a serious degree. Maybe a vice, maybe a bad habit that you've done for so long that you're able to let go of. Something as simple as, let's say, biting your nails. It's very, very difficult to create change. As easy it is to say, oh, if I knew I was wrong, I would stop it. But if you were to take a second and ask yourself, when's the last time I've changed? When's the last time I've stopped doing this bad deed or bad habit or bad sin? When's the last time I started doing a good deed or a good habit and I kept moving forward on that? When's the last time I used to live like this? Let's say I'm inactive, but I changed and now I'm very active. A measurable difference, not only slight differences. And this gauges your ability to accept truth, unless you think you're always right. If a person has the inability to change, they do not have the ability to accept truth when it faces them. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to create change. An inner revolution, represented by the revolution of Abu Abdullah on Ashura. So that's what we're here to do. And so we're not going to make these 10 nights, and when I say these 10 nights, even these 10, if you fake being sad on these 10 nights, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you ajr. If you fake crying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you ajr. Much less if you're genuinely sad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept any deed you do on these 10 days for Abu Abdullah, be it whatever it is, fake or not fake, sincere or insincere. He is the one that accepts everything and anything. On Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take a man to throw him towards hellfire, will he not? And at this point, this man looks towards Allah and the angel says, I never thought a Lord as merciful as you would throw me in hell. Allah swears that this man never had that thought in the dunya. He never thought this. But I will still give him Jannah. Even though that thought never entered him in this world, and Abu Abdullah's door is that generous. No, even if it's insincere like that person that was about to be thrown into hell, that door is that wide and that open. But we're going to try to make it more than that. Not only do you want sincere emotions and sincere sadness, but what we also want is sincere change. A better version of who we are from entering these 10 days, leaving these 10 days, and carrying this forward for the rest of the year and into the future. Pick one thing And we have to figure what that thing is, act on it, and move forward on it. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
So tonight's lecture, I predominantly geared it towards the younger brothers. So I'm going to ask them to pay attention, but this also affects myself and everyone else here. The question that I want to answer today is why care about religion? Why care? Maybe 3-4 years ago I answered the question, why be religious? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
So around a few years ago I answered the question, why be religious? Today I'm answering the question, why care about religion? Why even care? Why? And the reason I'm asking why care is because my involvement in the community, not only this one, the community that I'm a part of outside of here, working with younger brothers, even older brothers my age, young adults. Something I've found, and maybe others will agree with me that volunteer, it's very hard to get people to care these days about anything. It's very hard to connect to a younger person, even maybe an older person, and resonate with him and inspire just a bit of caring. It seems like every answer is, I don't care. Homework, I don't care. Room is dirty, I don't care. Someone, it doesn't matter. I don't care. It seems like there's anything you can throw at them, it's an issue of I don't care. It doesn't matter. And the same could be said even with brothers that are older. So today, what I want to answer is why we should care about religion. And the reason people so very easily say I don't care is because of the amount of distractions. Younger brothers these days, younger brothers and sisters, excuse me, I'm only seeing the brothers here, is the amount of distractions they are faced with today is much greater than the amount of distractions we had, or I had, or you had when we were younger. It's just all day, every day, so many different things being thrown at them through so many different ways. Like on one phone, you can have 50 different applications, an application for 50 different things. And there's so much deception and there's so much illusion that it's very, very easily, you can very easily get distracted with all this. And as we get older, we can very easily get distracted with a big house, and we can easily get distracted with a big car, and we can easily get distracted with things that don't matter. And we paint those things, we think they matter, but in reality, no one really matters what you ate for breakfast. That you have to post a picture on Instagram. That's not an issue of substance. No one really cares. It doesn't really matter how many likes you get on a certain picture. That's not an issue of relevance, of importance. How big the house is. In the end, you take up the same amount of space. But it's marketed and put in a way where that's all that matters. So, so today, I'm going to go back to answering that question. And just to further elaborate the point, people before didn't have to be religious, but they cared about something. Even we cared about something. A person would continue to care about his image. People would, even if they were religious, you'd care about your image. People that wasn't religious would care about his schooling, would care about his work, would care about his family. And today, it seems like even those things, I don't care. It's just nothing seems to matter. And there's a verse in the Quran that comes and he says in chapter 57 verse 20, and this world's life is an illusion, a deception. So we cannot be deceived by these illusions and by these vices and by these desires and by all this fakeness that exists around us and thinking those are issues of substance and matter. It's only an illusion. And it'll one day fade away. Its pleasure is very, very short-lived. The high you get out of how many people it's very insignificant. How big as big as that house is, eventually it fades off. The novelty of it and the fun factor of it. So, why care about religion? And not to make this a personal, lecture about me, But I had to ask myself, well, as I was growing up, why did I care about religion? Why did it matter to me? And why did I wish to be, try to be religious and try to follow this path throughout my life? So when asking myself that question, when I tried to answer it, it took me a bit of time. But the answer that I mainly came up with is because when I was younger, I always felt like I only had Allah. I feel like everyone only in reality only has Allah. And when I say you only have Allah, it makes it seem as if you're limiting only Allah. But the reality of it is when you have Allah, you have everything. Nothing is missing when you have Allah and you're with Allah. Forget your enemies. Your enemies will have hasad towards you. Your enemies will not be well wishers for you, will steal from you, will backbite against you, will talk against you. No problem. You expect this. It's from your enemies. But I'm here to tell you, when I was younger and people growing up now, that son that you love so much as a toddler, when he's 18, he's going to give you a hard time. That brother you love, he's going to betray you. That friend you have, your wife, she's going to fight you. Your parents have done wrong by you. Your children have done wrong by you. Everyone you love, because they're close to you, is going to do wrong by you. They're a person. Anyone you care about is going to hurt you in some way. And if they don't leave you in this dunya, they leave you in akhirah. Because on that day, everyone enters the qabr alone. And on the Yawm al-Qiyamah, everyone stands alone. And everyone is willing to sacrifice all their kin and all their family to save themselves. I'm not here pushing a negative image. No one loves you. No. But people that love you are not perfect. And they're flawed. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always with you. And He is the one that always calls you. He is the one that you are disloyal to. He is that one that you turn away from. He is the one that you disrespect. Oh, my friend disrespected me. He did this. My brother disrespected me. I got into a business with a friend. He stole from me. But we always at least when we disrespect our friend or disloyal to him, at least we try to do it behind his back. Out of shame. We're embarrassed. But we are disloyal towards Allah to His face. Every day, with every sin. We know He watches us and we continue to disregard Him. That's the kind of disloyalty we show towards that relationship. صلوا على محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
And for dua iftitah, we read during every day during Shahr Ramadan. You call me and I turn away from you. You love me and I show hatred towards you. Is this relationship with Allah that makes me feel like no matter what I do, I have Allah? Allah will always accept the small praise you give. You can give this person so much, be so nice, and you'll never rise up in their eyes. They'll never say anything good of you. Allah, you give him so little. Abu Abdullah, you give him so little, they'll accept. And they'll accept you among them. So we only have, and it brings a story to mind that I'm going to share. It's just a fake story. There's a youth, and he got in trouble with the law. So the judge told him, bring me a character reference, and you won't face any jail time, I'll let you off. He's like, no problem, I have my best friend. We all have that best friend, that brother who you think you know, you've seen, you love, he's always there for you. He's like, I'll get this guy. Then he has my back. He'll give a character reference and he'll tell the judge I'm a good guy. He goes towards that friend and he tells him the situation. The friend's like, listen, I can get you the best suit. I can even get you the best lawyer, but I can't go to court with you. I'm also facing legal issues and me being involved in your case is going to get me into trouble. It hurt, you know. Okay, he's like, no problem, I understand. He went to his second friend. We all have this second friend. Maybe he's not as fun as the first friend, but he's very responsible. He's always there for you. You can always feel like you got this guy when you need him. So he calls this friend, and the friend says something similar to the first. Listen, I'm also facing issues, and I can be there for you if you get prosecuted. I can give time towards you. I can hang out with you. I can call you, whatever, but I can't go to court with you. That's gonna involve me and get me into trouble. He's like, okay, no problem. Then he was like, who else can I call? Now we all have this third friend. You can imagine him. That third friend is that one that always calls, and you kind of just say, Oh, I'll call you back, but you never do. Or that friend that he's just not fun, he's a nice guy, but you just, for whatever reason, you shy away from him. He calls you for Eid, you say you're going to call him back, you don't call back. You're going to hang out with him, you don't hang. You're kind of always pushing him away. Now take this, and so he calls this friend, he tells him his scenario. The friend's like, I know you've been busy, you haven't been answering my calls or seeing me, but no problem. I got you, I'll go to court with you, I'll defend you. Okay, great. He was surprised. He said, Alhamdulillah. Now take this scenario and apply it to qabr and that grave. That first friend that you have will be your wealth and will be your money. They'll get you nice things, nice suits and cars and whatnot, but it's not going to go into the grave with you. And that second friend that was responsible is your family. They'll recite prayer for you, do dua for you, but they're not going to enter the qabr with you. That third friend that you've been pushing away, that called you, that answered, who's who? Allah. Is Allah. Allah. He is always there for you. So have Allah. Have Allah in your need of no one else and nobody else and nothing else. So this is what I'm saying, we have to care about religion. And that's why Imam al-Sajjad comes in and says, you are my companion in my solitude. You are my shelter when I have no shelter. You are my cave. You are the ones that's there in my loneliness. You are the one that's there in my sadness. Allah is there when you are happy. Allah is there when you are sad. Allah is there for you whenever you need Him. But it's us that turn away from Him. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Nabi Musa something so beautiful. He says, O Musa, poor is the one who has no guardian like me. Sick is the one who has no healer like me. And lonely is the one who has no friend like me. This is a very beautiful friend to have. And the best relationship to have. And this, to help illustrate this, the wealth you have when you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your life, by caring about religion, Nabi Isa has a very beautiful hadith. I think I've mentioned before. I'll mention it again quickly. Nabi Isa comes and he says, my 2 hands are my servant, my 2 feet my horse, the earth is my carpet, the stone which he sleeps on my pillow. What gives me warmth in the winter in the lands is on which the sun shines on. Moonlight is my lantern at night. Listen to this line. Hunger is the main course of my meal. Hunger is the main course of my meal. Fear of God is my garment, and those herbs growing on the earth for animals and wild animals are my fruits and my basil. Days become nights and nights become days. While I go to bed and I own nothing. Nonetheless, there is no one wealthier than me. No one wealthier than him. And anything you think you own and you think you have could be gone like in a second. That car, one accident. That house, one fire. That son, one virus, he's dead. Anything you think you own, it's an illusion. It's fake. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only existent being not dependent upon anything else. No fire can take him, no virus can take him. Nothing can break him. He is the only reality that truly exists as Allah. He is the only reality that matters. He's the only reality that cannot disappear. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
And the famous boxer, even you think your children are yours. Even the famous boxer Muhammad Ali, he has this one line where he says, after I got divorced, he was saying, after I got divorced, you've probably seen it in the news. He's like, my own children call another man daddy now. You think even your sons are yours? Like this, they're gone. They have another father, who knows when. Nothing belongs to us, and he's helping illustrate at that point. And me, for the time that I've been here, and anyone that's listened to me, it's rare that I talk about adab and hell and punishment, or even rewards and Jannah. It's generally not my topic. My lectures are not generally based on this. I always like to focus on a relationship with Allah. But that's not to ignore the fact. That's not to ignore the fact that the grave is real. Hell is real. Heaven is real. You are real. Allah is real. Everything else is fake. When you're faced with something as serious as the qabr, and as Qiyamah, and as eternity. Why should we not care about religion? Outside the fact that the relationship with Allah is what we truly want, which is why we should care. But is any sin that we commit now worth eternal damnation, eternal punishment, eternal abandonment, eternal distance from Muhammad wa al Muhammad, eternal distance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Any sin is short-lived. Short-lived. It comes and it goes. It no longer has like I said, that big house, this pleasure is gone quick. That illicit relationship, its pleasure is gone quick. That illegal substance, its pleasure comes and goes. It's not worth it. It's so short-lived in comparing it to eternity. Muhammad Ali explains this very beautifully. He comes and he says, you want to understand what eternity is? Imagine the Sahara Desert. And there's 1,000, and Sahara Desert is huge, and there's a lot of sand. He's like, and you get out of hellfire after there's no more sand there. And the way you get rid of sand is every 1,000 years that goes by, you pick up 1 grain of sand. And then you wait for the next 1,000 years, and you pick up another grain of sand. To help you understand what eternity, he's like, America is only 200 years old. So anything we do that distance ourselves from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to ask ourselves, is it in reality worth it? Should I not show more care towards my deen, towards ahkam of Allah? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
And there's a beautiful hadith that helps illustrate this. This is an abbreviation of it. And then I'll tie it back to that verse of the Quran that I started off with, that says, surely the remembrance of Allah are the hearts at rest. It's based on a hadith from Hussain, but it's not the exact same. Here, one person asks, what's the strongest thing? Person says stone is the strongest. They say stone is not, because iron can break stone. They say no. Fire is stronger because fire can melt iron. They say no. Water is stronger than fire because water can distinguish fire. They say no. Rain is stronger because rain brings about water. They say no. Clouds is stronger. Why? Because clouds originates rain. They say no. Wind is more powerful. Why is wind more powerful? Because it can move the clouds. They say mountains are more powerful. Why are mountains more powerful? Because it's a barrier to the movement of the cloud. Then they say man is more powerful. Why? Because man can stand on top of a mountain. Then they say sleep is more powerful. Why? Because sleep can overcome man. Then they say no. Anxiety is more powerful than sleep because when you're anxious and stressed and nervous and depressed, you cannot sleep. Then they come and say no. Remembrance of Allah is greater than anxiety because when your heart is at rest, you won't be anxious. So surely with the remembrance of Allah are the hearts at rest. So my message, why be religious? Leave loneliness, sadness, depression. Because every vanity and desire we enjoy, without Allah being behind. For example, steak. You can eat a steak. It's halal or haram. It's the same. You're doing the same action. But the halal steak, you will not. And when I'm using steak as metaphor for even money, you can have halal money and haram money. Anything that you go about in haram will only bring about sadness and temporary pleasure. Go about those exact same things through halal, and you will replace that sadness and that pressure and that stress and that anxiety with love, happiness and bliss, both in this dunya and in akhirah. And who better illustrated this when standing alone when the great ambassador of Hussain, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, was his cousin Muslim bin Aqil. Muslim bin Aqil, when he first was sent out to Kufa, his brother told him to go to help understand the scenario, to see if the people were interested in supporting him. We're going to give him sanctuary and safety, to see if you can garner that support and that revolution for the Imam. So upon going there, he used to have the thousands of people following him. And then on that one night when he's praying in Masjid al-Kufa, imagine you have the whole world behind you, thousands of people praying. And then Ubaidullah bin Ziyad, he started giving people fake promises, giving people I'll give you this and I'll give you that, and threatening them with death. So then they started fearing, and then the mothers and the sisters of the people of Kufa started telling their sons and their husbands, come back, Muslim has enough supporters. And then the fathers and the uncles started telling their sons, come back, we can't risk being killed for Hussein. So then you find Muslim bin Aqil, eventually when he was leaving that masjid, after looking after Salat al-Maghrib, he finds himself alone and stranded and gharib, wandering the streets of Kufa. And as he was on his horse, just walking around, wondering what to do, he goes by the house of a woman named Taw'a. And when he sees her, he sends his salute towards her, and then he asks her if he has a cup of water. This great ambassador who had the world at his feet is now alone and looking for a cup of water. And when she gives him that cup of water, he still sits there. She politely wants him to leave rather than him sitting at her doorstep, and she comes and says, did you not drink your water? He answers in the affirmative, saying yes. She asks again, and she asks again. He keeps saying yes. And then he tells her, and then she looks at him and says, why don't you go back to your family? He says, I have no family and I have no tribe. I'm a stranger in this land. She asks him, who are you? He tells her, I am Muslim bin Aqil. This great warrior of eternity at this point had to sit outside alone without anyone surrounded by him. And then she warns him of the son that she had, Kamil, and she told him that this son is a supporter of Ubaidullah bin Ziyad. And here, not too long ago, all of Kufa was praying behind Muslim, and now you have all of Kufa praying behind Ubaidullah. And when they're praying behind Ubaidullah, he starts telling about that rebel and that person causing fitna, and whoever will get Muslim for him will be rewarded. So this son of this woman goes towards Ubaidullah, and he tells him that he's at his house. Upon hearing this, they go charge towards that house. Muslim begins to hear the hooves outside. So when he charges out ferociously. Some ahadith say he killed as 40, and then as he was killing them, they started going to the top of the hilltop, the buildings, and throwing pebbles and stone towards him. So he took his back and he put it against the wall to help protect himself. And as he continued to go through the ranks and kill, Ubaidullah began to get upset. He's like, one person is doing all this damage. They reply back to him, do you think you've sent us to kill one simple grocer? He is a great ferocious warrior from the greatest family. But eventually came to a point where they were able to hold him in a captivity, and they took him to the court of Ubaidullah bin Ziyad. Upon being there, he goes to drink water. He tries for the first time and the second time and the third time, and that cup was always filled with blood. So he looks towards the skies and says, praise be to Allah, if this water would have been destined for me, I would have drank from it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destined that Muslim bin Aqil, like his cousin, will die thirsty. And then he was asked to make, what last final requests do you have? As Arab custom was, what did he last care about? What was last on his mind? He was last worried about a debt. He's like, I have a debt that wants to be covered. I want to be given an Islamic burial, and I want my message to go back to my cousin Hussein, not to come here, for these lands are not for him. Ubaidullah tells him no for the last two, and he says for the first, whatever money you have, we might pay off your debts. Here he's taken to the rooftop, and at that point, Muslim bin Aqil continues to praise Allah and glorify Allah and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. Then they point him towards the shoe market. They decapitate his head. They take that blessed head of Muslim, they throw it into the market. They take that holy body, they hurl it over that building, and then they tie that body with Hani bin Arwa and they drag it through the streets of Kufa. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to be of those who care about things of importance and relevance. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from caring about those things of non-importance and of no relevance. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to be of ibaduhu salihin, the habba of Muhammad wa al Muhammad, the shi'as of Amir al-Mu'mineen, and the muntadhir imam sahibi wa asrihi wa zaman. Sallu ala Muhammad wa al Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.